Alright, here we go. This is a ranked 1v1 on Twin Peaks between the red player on the left side, Raffle Osprey 13, which is Sanguinius13. This is a very well-known Sanguinius13 Smurf in the standard Osprey, and his opponent, the carbon-colored black player on the right side, Turkleton in the standard classic Warthog. Turk being the #1 ranked ELO in 1v1 right now, I think. I haven't seen the 1v1 rankings for a little while, but I don't imagine that. I know Tangi was #2 in either like the Stardog or the Boomhauer or something. Was someone's #3? You know, that's usually up there. But Turk was recently in the last month or two, you know, overtook Tangi in the #1 rankings, in the 1v1 rankings, and I don't think Tangi has played that much 1v1 in the meantime, so I'm pretty sure that Turk still holds the crown right now, and we do have very, very standard loadouts on both players' teams. Turk and Sang both going with the Longhorn as the main tank unit, and Turk going with Zippers instead of Jackals or Rebels as the popular neutralization unit. Zippers have been getting extremely popular, especially in high tier play, just because that they have been noticed to be just insanely effective in neutralization. Just because you can, you know, #1, they're super cheap, so you can spam them like crazy, and #2, because of the numbers and because there's 4 of them instead of maybe 2 Jackals or something like that, you can get a great surround on outposts. Also because patrolling is amazing, and we do see Turk killing a couple of fixers, but not getting finished off by Sang in that retreat there, and Sang actually going for the bottom versus Turk actually going for the top, and Turk dropping Zippers, just what you know, just what you would expect with this loadout of Zippers. Just really good harass tactic, bringing even more now, and Sanguinius queuing up, or not queuing up, but bringing infantry, dropping Jackals, exactly what he needs to counter these Zippers, and he will be able to shut down this neutralization attempt. Turk with probes in his loadout, or in his build queue, but because those Zippers have been pretty much countered exactly the way they should be countered, with more infantry to drop and with Zippers to defend, those probes will not be used at all, because this outpost will not be neutralized, or at least it will now, but it took quite a while, and Turk will almost definitely not be able to get those probes in, and he actually has canceled them from his build queue and is now continuing to attack the top right there. And Sanguinius now re-grabbing this outpost, has a couple Jackals to defend, and I was a little bit surprised to see no Jackals going down, because that is one of the very popular tactics here on the new, not necessarily new, but the newish Twin Peaks map, and more Zippers going down by Turkleton. I do think that this will, yes, that will do a good neutralization job, and he does get that this time. And now Sanguinius no infantry in queue, so he wouldn't have been able to avoid that anyway. Turkleton almost getting this, getting a lot of units killed actually, and definitely not going to get killed by Sang in that retreat, in that chase. And now probes coming, and but creeps coming down for Sanguinius. Oh, actually Turk with those super fast probes and more in queue defensively to keep them up, but I don't think this will be able to stay in Turk's control with so many red units surrounding. 2 bulbs up left only, more defensive probes going down. Oh, and they actually go back in. So now Turk with extremely good infantry spam to be able to keep that in his outpost, or to keep that outpost in his control. And more going down, just probes after probes after probes, using his primary attack to really do the good job of killing units while keeping that in his control. And actually does lose it for now, but all that really cost him was Zippers and probes, and now Sanguinius had to bring a lot more units out of queue. And so I do think Turk did come out ahead in that exchange. Now finally will be able to take top, has cleared the majority of the units over here, does actually take it, grabs that power station, and now is definitely ahead of the fight. There are 2 sockets up at the top and 2 sockets at the bottom total, so if Sanguinius is actually able to grab that outpost, they will be kind of tied, except for the fact that the top outpost that Turkleton has right now is a power station. Almost going to get taken down by, oh, very close, got back to his outpost in the nick of time with those two Jackals in his cargo. And now Turk working for the top, gonna start going for to clear the neutral, so we can have a nice clear path, a nice clear push path towards Sanguinius' center close there, and almost getting killed by those neutrals. And oh no, I thought, I could have sworn that Sanguinius would have been able to catch him in that retreat real quick right before. Oh, and now not even hesitating, not even clearing the mines, sending all the Longhorn he has. Look at all how many there are, and is queuing up Zippers for his for that neutralization purposes, and drops one, you know, decoy, not necessarily, but like a dummy meat shield, you know, fire dare taking something like that Longhorn right here, and does drop the zippers at these at this close. It does set them on capture, so they did kind of rearrange themselves over here, and does set all of the other ones to capture, but only like I think only 4 waypoints over here. So the other zippers did go to this bottom outpost, but now the Longhorn are reaching. So I do think that this will overrun Sanguinius over here. Sanguinius spamming infantry like crazy. Keeps all of his bulbs up for now, but now these Longhorn are going for Sanguinius' fort, and I do think this might actually be the end of the game, just because Sanguinius has nothing in Q to defend. Turk is going to be able to grab this outpost with 4 probes coming up, and he does have 4. No, yeah, okay, yeah, now has 4 bulbs up, has been able to clear all of Sanguinius' units over there at the close, and now Sanguinius, desperate to get this defense off, has a lot of defensive tanks in the front, so he probably will be able to defend this off, but now Turk, with a humongous advantage, has that close outpost, and Sanguinius only has that bottom outpost, and only dropping infantry over here. A lot of tanks to surround and defend, so Sanguinius dropping fixers, so we will be able to get that salvage, and Turk does retreat his tanks, so those Longhorn. And now we will see a very, very close fort to post fight between Turk and Sanguinius. This bottom outpost that was taken by Sanguinius is pretty much just ignored at this point, just because Turk has been able to grab that close. There's such power in taking the top that is that's pretty much the standard now here on Twin Peaks, to just go for top, just because when you grab it, it's really, really easy to attack that next outpost, that next close outpost that your opponent usually still has at that point. And now Turk, already at level 6, does have a Bertha going down, so we probably will see just a slow annihilation of Sanguinius' units here by that Bertha, and another one coming up for Turkleton, has another one in queue. Sanguinius, all he can do is, because he only has he doesn't even have level 6 yet, he just has normal low-level artillery. He has Archies to fight against these Berthas, and Turk really doing a good job keeping those tanks, those Longhorn, to soak all the damage in the front, and will be able to I don't think this is the right move. Turk might be able to take down, almost got taken down by Sanguinius there. I would have assumed if Sanguinius actually concentrated more on firing them down, but he was really, really prioritizing on saving his units, which I probably do agree with. Turk didn't really, it wasn't really necessary to kill Turk at that point. Although if he killed Turk, he might have been actually able to clear the majority of the units that he has over at that close. Definitely neutralize it with some jackals or whatever that he uses. Sanguinius going with the jackals, not as effective as directly neutralizing as zippers, just because of their higher costs, and you can't carry 4 of them at once. They're not as spammable. However, the zippers are they do a really, really good job of neutralizing, but not as good as jackals at defense, or also as as being meat shields. And I do think the HP to credits ratio is much, much better for jackals. But Sanguinius actually doing a really, really good job ferrying his units over here. Actually is able to neutralize this, and Turk is getting pushed back here. It has 1 Bertha that he has saved, but now Sanguinius is going to go with a great, huge assault here. Has a lot of jackals. That neutralization is such a powerful move, and Sanguinius did that, and in that neutralization, now Turk has no power in this area except for the meager units that he has over here, and they're not really serving him the way that definitely not the way that an outpost can. Now Sanguinius does have the control back on this outpost. Turk finally socketing moneymakers over at the top, a little bit late. Maybe would have served him better obviously would have served him better earlier. And I'm not really sure if that extra credit gen would have been able to actually let him keep this outpost under his control. Actually, no kills yet. Not that surprising especially in an extremely high level 1v1. And neither of these players going with that extremely aggressive style. Turk actually getting finally taken down by Sanguinius. Now Sanguinius has a great opportunity to take down all the rest of the Turk's units over here. Now ferrying all his other units over there. And now Turk, I don't think dumping any credits into respawn. But now Sanguinius at level 6. Has a Bertha out on the field, and now we do have a fairly even battle. Bertha over here between the power station and the mid-close that Sanguinius has. But the big difference here in artillery war is that Sanguinius is an Osprey and Turkleton is a Warthog. So now I would even say that even though Sanguinius has lost control of his outpost for now, probably will get it right now real quick. Come on, bulbs go up, infantry walk in, come on, there you go. Now Sanguinius does have control of this middle close, and at this point Turkleton is a little bit dangerous for him, just because he is a Warthog, not choosing the body block, going for that quick kill for that attack at the back, and it actually does kill that before it could really do any real damage. I don't see, very, very, very little shield going up for Turk, but does force him to put that lunchbox down instead of that moneymaker. I would expect him to want to switch it back out, because that shield has been generated, but I'm not really sure if he's actually going to be able to do that in this extremely high intensity match. And what we see right now, more artillery going down. No, not more, but we do see one extra artillery going down by Sanguinius, and Turkleton doing a little bit of front door hero hogging with a Longhorn in support. He will be able to get a good amount of damage. As you can see, he has 3 Berthas already up, and he has put down, I would say, a good 20, not 20, maybe 10 to 15% of fort health already gone from Sanguinius' fort, and now has been, with these zippers, such an effective tool to neutralize. Even with a Warthog, you can carry 4, I think, from the beginning of the game. If not, you can do it by level 2, and that's super effective, especially if you are in a 1v1 where neutralizing an outpost is, you know, super powerful. It's a really good tool, really great tactic. And Turk actually almost dead, a little bit overextended here, is forced to walk back, and Sanguinius now has to transform battle with him. Turk doesn't actually fall for it, and Sanguinius actually transforms and is able to kill Turk. After that liftoff, Turk not able to walk all the way back, and, you know, with that slower transform speed, that Warthog was not able to keep up. Actually, I mean, theoretically, if he did, like, great prediction and just transformed as soon as he lifted off and stuff like that, he might have been able to do it, but, you know, at that point, it was a little bit dire. But now Sanguinius able to ferry up a lot of Longhorn in range of these Bertha. Turk forced to bring them back. Definitely going to be able to keep them in range of those Longhorn, though, just because the Bertha are extremely strong. He kind of accidentally dropped it on this bunker just because he wanted to avoid that light mine. But now Turk, really dangerous, behind 4 Longhorn, 5 Longhorn, actually. Now Sanguinius dropping, picking them up and microing them, then healing them, but Turk was actually able to kill 2 out of the 5. Extremely powerful, that Warthog. Such a good mech to do that unit harass. And Turk almost getting killed by all those following seeker missiles, but now did get back to that power station before he got killed. And at this point, Sanguinius is a little bit ahead on the upkeep, a little 81 to 70. Changed just a little bit, but like 10 or 15 upkeep ahead of Turkleton, which doesn't mean too much, but obviously in a 1v1, it's such a high level, high intensity 1v1, it does mean something. Now Turk is deciding to go with bombing runs instead of you know, the normal hog defense, or not hog defense, hog harass, or you know, that Bertha attack. It's actually kind of supplementing his Bertha attack because he does have 3 firing in. Oh, actually, he has 4 firing in right now, 1 on that socket, and it does push Sanguinius back all the way back to his outpost. He had a couple units sitting up a little bit closer for, you know, here-ish, give or take, but all that bombing and all those Bertha fire going down just forced him to move back. But now Sanguinius, level 7, already has a Goliath out on the field, and that one big difference in this loadout. Turk has a lunchbox, Sanguinius has that Goliath in his loadout, and you know, taking that lunchbox is really great just because you avoid those you know, those neutralization, not neutralization, those fort drops, and those you know, that slow damage. Oh, and now Turk dropping some here at the fort, I guess dropping them just in case, and also probably planning on pushing out from that fort eventually, kind of maybe in a potential desperation move, but really far behind enemy lines. Just notices there's 1 seeker though, so doesn't actually put himself in that much danger just because such a great scout went down. And now Turkleton, able to finish off a Bertha, and Sanguinius is actually technically, I think he's losing this fight. Obviously it is an 82 to 62 upkeep difference, and now more upkeep going down on the field by Turk, deciding to go with a push from the fort toward the bottom. I don't know if I agree with this. I do think that Sanguinius probably does notice that Turk isn't out on the field yet. Now Turk does come back, but all those Longhorn are going for that bottom outpost, and probably are not set to capture. They probably are set to attack. I don't know if they're actually... Is there anything down here for Sanguinius? No, there's nothing down here for Sanguinius, so I do think this will roll all the way through. If Turk actually set them to attack, they might just go, and yes, they are set to attack, going all the way through, massacring every unit in their wake. And at this point, Sanguinius does probably see something on his mini-map, but probably too focused on this post-to-post fight to really notice. Definitely does see it now. I do think that he does see it, and this death push is coming for Sang's fort. Turk actually, getting killed so far behind enemy lines. There was only a single seeker there, but did stay there for too long. I think he probably got hit by that Goliath. Oh, there were 2 seekers there, so that was definitely enough, obviously, to kill Turkleton, or at least to drain his life enough that Sanguinius was able to kill him. So right now, though, the only thing is there are, not the only thing, but the big thing is there is like 8 Longhorn here at Sanguinius' fort, and now Sanguinius definitely it has to react at this point. And now, you know, facing Berthas over here, I don't even know if this is outside of their, you know, minimum firing range, and a lot of life going down by Turk. We are way past halftime though, so there, you know, all those credits did go down. But oh, actually, in the meantime, Sanguinius was able to briefly grab this middle outpost, and there's only a couple of probes right there firing for Turkleton. So definitely Sanguinius was winning that Bertha war. But Turk, with all those Longhorn pushing up over here, has gotten an opportunity to start attacking this outpost. But now Sanguinius has been able to shut it down. You know, not after losing like a third of his life, but definitely able to shut it down. I would say he's still technically ahead in the position. Not really the position, but he's definitely ahead in the Bertha war. It's a 91-67 right now. And Turkleton has actually been able to clear the majority of units over here. Was able to briefly take both outposts, but now they are, you know, kind of looking more normal. A couple of creeps walking in on both sides, but now Turk with bombs is trying to get this Bertha, but Sanguinius does swoop it up in time. It's just so dangerous to do this against an Austrian. Turk almost getting killed before he gets back to his power station, but got there just in time. And now more defenses, more jackals, more everything going down for Sanguinius. Nothing but Berthas over here for Turk. He's the only thing that is defending against ground attacking units over here, and now forced to has zippers queued up, but I don't know if his outpost is actually even going to last long enough for him to drop a majority of them down. It does go down to neutral. This power station has been neutralized by Sanguinius13 in that Raffle Osprey Smurf, and now has a bunch of more units coming up here. Turk pretty much has nothing left in the area, just forced to retreat his Berthas back. One outpost, almost actually getting killed, well, about half life, but it's just such a dangerous flight back, especially with a Bertha in a Warthog. You move so slow. Just fortunately, he is fighting an Osprey, so the DPS isn't that great, although exactly, I think the DPS is the same as the Neo, so it's a little bit weird there, but now Sanguinius now trying to get a good surround on that outpost, but Turk with a Ninja Longhorn here at the side door. Now Sanguinius is here to block, but block with those Longhorn, but now Turk is forced to run away here. Sanguinius doesn't. Oh, it is kind of chasing him away, especially because he had that blocking, those blocking Longhorn over there to be able to take that other Longhorn that Turk dropped down, that black Longhorn. FYI, guys, I am gonna go with black. It's one syllable. Orange doesn't really roll off the tongue as well, and the carbon team doesn't really sound that great because it's kind of confusing with the dev team as well. But Turk actually able to kill one of the Berthas over there, even the one on the socket that was getting the heal. And I think the Bertha count is actually favoring Turk right now. It is 3-2, just because Turk was able to get that. Oh no, there is a third Bertha here. I did not see that. It is on that door. But right now Sanguinius with the jackal drop. I do think this will actually work and actually neutralize his outpost. There are so many going down. Sanguinius not stopping, has more jackals in his queue, has 2 more. I don't think that Turk is going to be able to fight this off. There are so many jackals over here. 2 bulbs up left. Turk with more creeps going down, has been able to actually relight all the bulbs and desperately trying to spam probes to be able to keep this in his control, and actually does, healing up a Bertha. So but he's kind of, I think this is sort of even. 2 Berthas to, oh, where'd that other Bertha go? I guess Turk probably killed it. 2 to 3 Berthas. Oh, 4 right now. So the artillery war is, technically in terms of number of artillery, is getting Turk is in the lead of those artillery, but the only thing is Sanguinius is in that Osprey, and he can maintain these units for so long, and Turk just randomly doing a bunch, not randomly, but trying desperately to do as much air to ground and just contribute as much DPS as he possibly can. Now drops something on the front door, drops a Longhorn on the front door. Sanguinius is forced to respond here, does drop his blocking Seeker in the way, and now Turk doesn't have time to really reposition. Is forced to just run straight away, and whatever little damage he can put in, that's all he really can do at this point. Just trying to put in little bits of damage, and has actually brought Sang down to less than half health, but now Sanguinius with a bunch of level 4 creeps and more creeps coming in will probably be able to take both the bottom outposts, and so Turk will be only left with his close outpost and almost getting killed in the air, but does get back to that post in time, and there's not much left. Oh man, it's at a 66 to 86 upkeep difference, so it's not a huge difference, but if you look at the number of units down, a lot of the units for Turk are just sitting right here, just mostly Berthas, a couple zippers, and a couple tanks, but if you look at how many units Sanguinius has, he has a Goliath here to tank all the damage, a bunch of Berthas, a couple defensive units over here, and a bunch of defensive units here at that fort, and now Turk just desperately trying to go back and forth, trying to kill Berthas from behind, which is exactly what you need to do, but right now, can't afford that. If I were Sanguinius, I kind of might just start spamming Seekers, just because Turk in that Warthog has so much power just to go back and forth, so if he spammed a lot of Seekers, he will be able to keep Turk in that, what the only advantage that Turk has right now for the most part, is that he's the Warthog that can put a buttload of DPS down while while moving around and microing his units. And in the stark contrast, that Sanguinius is that Osprey that can actually keep his units alive and heal them. So if Sanguinius spammed Seekers, I mean, I don't know if this is a winning strategy or not, but that's kind of what I would do in this situation. Although I'm not one of the top tier players, obviously you probably shouldn't listen exactly to what I say when it comes to high tier play, except the fact that right now Sanguinius is winning, and I do know that. He's definitely had 171 upkeep difference, and he has 2 Goliaths out on the field. I don't know if there's any others left on the field. Oh man, that was weird. The client just took over for some reason. No one died, nothing happened. Oh, actually, Turkleton did die there, and so now Sanguinius has a big opportunity, dropping a bunch of Jackals here at the front of this outpost. There are so many here, and now does set a couple to, I guess, to capture, or maybe just put a couple on patrol. But Turkleton has been able to shut that down. A lot of tanks down over here have actually been able to kill the rest of the Jackals. It's really dangerous for Turk to put anything here in the front, though, just because that any units over there will die to the massive amount of Berthas. I say massive just because all of them are dead, but there are only 2, and that's kind of all it takes. As long as they're all just sitting there, they will definitely die to Berthas just firing in. And now finally, Sanguinius has a Goliath here out on the front. Turk desperately trying to shoot it from the front, but that's really just a bad idea. And now this outpost has been neutralized by all those Berthas. Saying with 2 Longhorn at the front door, Turk really needs to decide now what he wants to do. Does he want to defend his fort, or does he want to try to go for that outpost defense? And does decide to go for the fort just because there are 5, count them, 5 Longhorn. Oh no, there were 4. There were 5 units total. There were 4 Longhorn and 1 Jackal, but there were so many over there. But Turk, with that super strong Warthog, and actually with a bunch of probes and creeps, has been able to briefly retake this outpost, but now retreating is not a word, but he is retreating back from this close outpost, bringing a Bertha back, putting in defensive position. There are so many units here that Sanguinius has been able to ferry over, including a Seeker, and that might be the end of Turkleton right now, almost getting killed before he gets back to that fort, but so many probes, not so many probes, but a couple probes going down, a couple level 4 creeps going down. Turk is, level 13 a Warthog, so, and has full unit, or not full unit upgrades, but full mech upgrades, has all 3 points in the air to ground, spin up, and power. So that's that's just such an amazing thing that you can use a Warthog for. It's so good to just hero in, and the damage scaling for its attack is just so strong, so you can just sit there and kill units all day without being in too much danger of getting killed. Although Turk did get killed just then, just because I think he should have probably walked all the way back to his outpost instead of flown back, just because once he lifted off, Sanguinius was free to shoot him in the air, and this does look like it might be the end of the game. Sanguinius moving more units up, ferrying more stuff, bringing his last Bertha from that top outpost. But if you look at the life difference right now, Turk has brought Sang to less than half of his life left. And all those 4 drops were super effective, especially at late game, once Turk hit level, past level 9 or 10, once the damage scaling just goes through the roof, and now almost able to kill that Bertha before Sang was able to heal it up and grab it. But, obviously, being right here in this area, Sang was able to just, save any units pretty much. All he's doing is he's controlling this outpost, massing up more units until he can have a larger push out, and that's kind of what Turkleton is doing right now, trying to push out with his Longhorn, and is not going for that outpost. He's going straight for an attack, which is a humongous telegraph for Sanguinius, but in the meantime dropping zippers, trying to split Sang's attention, gonna probably neutralize his outpost if Sanguinius decides to go with a defense. But no, does actually not, but fort defense is what I meant there. But now Sanguinius actually dropping level 4 creeps, so he is prioritizing on keeping that outpost, and now Turk with a Longhorn at the front door. Sanguinius is gonna be forced to push out right now. We will have a base race. Turkleton is firing in so strong, and he will have to commit for this, especially because Sanguinius is pushing out right now. There are a couple of Goliaths going through the front door, which is completely empty for Turkleton, and Turkleton almost has Sanguinius killed, and now has to defend this. There are too many Goliaths, though I don't think that... Oh, Turkleton is completely ignoring it, just gonna go straight for Sanguinius' front door, and Sanguinius has so many Goliaths here at Turk's front door, and I don't know who's gonna win. Turk dropping at the side door, Sanguinius has so many Goliaths at the front door, and I think Sanguinius13 has been able to grab this victory right under Turkleton's nose after he was able to... Oh man, drop some stuff at the front, and Turkleton leaves right away. Oh, and this is super glitchy though, but this is Osprey13 that has been able to grab this 1v1 victory. That is Sanguinius13, by the way, over Turkleton on Twin Peaks, ranked victory. Wow, wow, wow. What an ending there. Sanguinius almost able to Turkleton almost able to finish off Sang. Yeah, Sang with that death push there at the end. Not death push, but just a great time push. Didn't really defend at his fort, but did, was able to finally come out on top. Sanguinius13 with this 1v1 rank victory over Turkleton on Twin Peaks. If you spectate any awesome games like this, like Akroz did for me, please send them in to me at ruy0x@gmail.com or RUI on Steam, or Carbon Forum message me, or YouTube message me. Either or. This is RUI, and that is game. See you next time.